My name is Bill Jones with recapturefederalism.com, and this is episode 2 of Bill Jones from Freedom's Nest. Today's subject is about the current condition in America of insurrection, which we've had for a long time, ongoing. And we're going to get into it. I have, if you're watching this on a video, I have up on the video my observations concerning America at the present time and the silent, secret American insurrection and revolutionary movement. And revolutionary movement's communism. So I have it there, and we'll do some, in case you're listening in audio, I'll try and explain it so you get some idea without seeing the graphic. We're going to talk about the insurrection. Well, what is an insurrection? Insurrection is a definition from the Free Dictionary, is the act or instance of open revolt against civil authority or a constitution government. And that's America. We have a constitution in America. If you want to know what it's like or what it looks like, it's as defined and explained in Federalist Papers 51. It hasn't changed any since then. That's the system of our government. 3 pillars of government: the federal constitution, the state constitutions, there's 50 of them presently, and it's all wrapped around by a confederation of 50 states, soon to be 51 possibly, with the addition of Puerto Rico. And there is a force destroying that fabric, that infrastructure, if you will, of the American government, the representative government, the Republican principles, not party, not the Republican Party, but Republican principles, also known as the federal principles of America, and also the federal system of America. And that's what we have had since 1788. But no, there's people of doing that are trying to change that secretly and silently. Now, there's also, as a noun in that same thing, it's one under government, politics, and diplomacy, an act or instance of rebelling against government in power or civil authorities, which is an insurgency. And of course, some of these people will say, "Whoa, it's a flowing document. The government is the Constitution's a flowing document." No, it's not. It can be amended. It has been amended in some ways wrongfully, but it has been amended over the years. If you look at Article 6 of the Constitution, nothing in Article 6, which is the supremacy clause and the religion clause, talks about any parties being in power. It's representatives and the people. That's the agreement. The consent of the people and the consent between the governing by the representatives. No parties. So it's what has been happening is the supremacy clause has really been violated over the years, and presently is also. I mentioned Federalist 51. There's also Federalist 9 by Alexander Hamilton, and Federalist 10, which is by James Madison. And they talk about insurrection. And the title of their Federalist 9, "The Union as a Safeguard Against Domestic Faction and Insurrection." They talk about it. The whole paper talks about that. And Federalist 10 is James Madison, which is the same subject continued, the Union as a safeguard against domestic faction and insurrection. Now, that's that. We'll get into that sometimes, into it really, really deeply into it. Along about the time when we started having progressives in this country, around the turn of the century, 1900, in 1909, there was a law enacted. There was some concern because about income tax and what have you. 1895, there was a Supreme Court decision, Pollock versus Farmers Branch, and it went against the legislators, federal legislators, state legislators, because they got their hat handed to them in 1895. The Supreme Court said that you can't have that law that you passed. It's a scheme. Yeah, a scheme. They call the income tax a scheme. So they went around and one of the fastest, speediest amendments, 16th Amendment, come up there. Income tax, federal income tax. And all the states passed it because they want that money. And since then, there's flagrant violations of the 16th Amendment. One of the shortest amendments there is of all the 27 or whatever they are. In 1909, there was legislation passed. Code, Title 18, USC Criminal Code, Chapter 115, Treason, Sedition, and Subversive Activities. It's been changed and amended sometimes in there. It looks like as you go through it, 1950s is when they had some last changes to it. So the present one intact is, of course, treason. And that clause is 2381, treason. And then there's 2382, which is misprison. A misprison of treason. And then there's 2383. That section, 2383, titled Rebellion or Insurrection, and it states, whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Wow. You think that's been going on? It's been going on for a long time, insurrection. An argument could be made for that. But you won't have the DOJ, I mean, you won't have them arguing for that, arresting anybody for that, arresting the parties. By the way, the next section, 2384, is seditious conspiracy. That's two people doing it. Yeah, that's right. So seditious conspiracy, you can have, if you look at these, you can make an argument for every one of the sections under Title 18, Chapter 115. Almost every one of them is violations of this law. These politicians, when they do it, they're violating it. The parties are violating it. And they're in tight with the banks, and they're all collusion, working together, collaboration. And then all of a sudden, about the same period of time, right after the 1909, in the mid-teens, 19-teens, you have the income tax coming through and the Federal Reserve all at the same time. Isn't that just a coincidence? You think maybe all these people working together, these parties, these two political parties? Yeah, you're right. It's not a coincidence. We'll be getting into it deeper too later. This is scratching the surface. And as I said, this is episode 2. We're going to continue on. I'm going to try and do as many episodes as I can continually, at least one a day I'd like to see me get to. And why doesn't anybody else talk about this? Why didn't the press talk about this? By the way, conservatives, I don't know why you don't talk about it, but other than the fact that it's probably better to be a federalist than a conservative, and people have been brainwashed into this stuff. There's a lot of brainwashing going on. But yeah, we'll have some more episodes, and we'll try and keep it, my episodes this length, maybe a little bit longer. You can come to my website, and I'm going to have a page with just audio. The video, you get to see graphics and slides and what have you. Come on down. We're going to be doing that. Probably best thing to be come down and subscribe, because somewhere along the line I'm going to be making a member page for this stuff, and that way you can get into these episodes and see all of them. Somewhere along the line we'll start doing that. We're also going to be putting it on iTunes as podcast and what have you, somewhere along the line. So we should be doing that. So until the next time, which will be episode 3, this ends episode 2. Thank you for joining me today, and please return soon to recapturefederalism.com. Please come to the site and subscribe so you can get notice of new presentations.